All right, so we're at it again with another weekend vlog, you guys. I'm just trying to get in the flow of cranking these out. I really don't care about how many views my videos get in general, but especially not if like only 30 people watch these weekend ones that I've been just slapping together. My mustache is like growing. It grows faster on the right side of this is my right side. The whole mirror thing throws me off, but this side is not as long, so it's kind of like a little bit. Anyways, but I just got back from the grocery store. It is a cold day in hell. I shouldn't really say that. It's super cold in Colorado. It's like single digit Fahrenheit degrees. Still positive, but below 10 degrees. And it's 8:20 right now in the morning on Sunday. Nevertheless, I just got back from the grocery store. So if you're watching this, then I already uploaded another video from last weekend where I did a grocery haul. The camera work was pretty bad, so I got everything and I put it all away, and now I'm going to show you what I got. So as per usual again, I got all my frozen meals for lunch at work, but I also got 2 lasagnas because those were delicious. And you know, you can hate on me for not cooking like elaborate meals all you want, but I know that I know how to cook. So speaking of beer brats, I'm gonna have some of those with some oatmeal for lunch. I'm gonna hard boil some eggs, got my steak, spinach. There's only 2 tortillas left relative to how much cheese I had. So no quesadillas, I'm just gonna eat those straight up. These are some leftover stir-fry vegetables, milk, more Coke, and orange juice. And got one of these for later this afternoon so I can crank some stuff out. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna make some oatmeal, beer brats. You know, one link has 14 grams of protein. So 2 of these, and it's, you know, part of the key, I think, for me to maintaining my diet in order to be able to continue to lift, continue to do jujitsu is, I mean, there are different philosophies of dieting, okay? So one of them is like, you would look at someone like me and you'd say, oh, I'm small, I'm lean, I'm, you know, relative to the average guy, if I don't lift or anything, people would say, yeah, I'm weak. But, you know, I've been lifting, so it's gotten better, but I'm not like a genetic phenom. So, like, you know, I'm not like a record power lifter by any means or anything like that. So people might look at me and say, oh, well, since you're so lean and stuff, you can get away with just eating as much food as possible. And, you know, it would be like a blessing, even in my opinion, if I lost my six pack a little bit. Like I've always just, my body fat distribution naturally always had a six pack since I've been like a little kid. And that's not necessarily a flex because there are downsides, right? I probably talked about this already, but it's like if I eat just everything that I possibly can, like my brain will want to like eat more food. I'll be like, yo, I want to just eat all these gummy bears and, you know, Reese's peanut butter cups, whatever, but it's not sustainable. Like, I just can't do that for like long periods of time. And the other downside is that I get like brain fog if I just like overeat. And like with work and a lot of, you know, making the math reading stream videos and all that stuff, it's like if I'm, you know, having brain fog and I can't feel sharp and stuff like that, it's hard to do all those kinds of things. It's kind of like I noticed where like if I'm a little bit hungry, that's kind of when I'm like the sharpest, which kind of makes sense from maybe like an evolutionary standpoint. It's like your brain would be like thinking of how am I going to hunt down this animal? Do I have, you know, have the gatherers gathered enough berries and nuts or whatever that we can last through X amount of time? Blah, like that's the kind of thinking that you have when you're a little bit hungry. When you're satiated, you're just like, oh, everything's taken care of. I don't have to think. I can just go to sleep. But I'm going to make this breakfast. I also got 2 donuts. I got sprinkles one and a glazed one. So it's like between that and the Red Bulls, it's going to be a wild Sunday. So let's cook it up, man. All right, so I read some of 1929. I'm about just under 200 pages left in the book. So just got through the stock market crash of 1929, the whole Black Tuesday deal. So now, I also did my taxes. I did some, adulting, had to like send my renter's insurance to the property manager for the new year, that sort of stuff. And so now I'm going to do a quick iteration on my experimental apparatus here. So if you haven't been keeping up with the updates, last time, 2 weeks ago, I wound my coil up. Might be too narrow. And the reason I say that is because the stepper motor attachment that I have, I call it like there's like a ruler and then a protractor. When the motor will oscillate, or when I program it to oscillate with the particular driver board that I have now, it might be kind of jerky, especially on the stand that it's on. So it might knock the coil off, but we're going to find out right now. So I've powered everything on, and let's do this. This is going to be, I'll do one of these. It's barely got any clearance, so I might have to make a slight adjustment to my coil winding jig and have a slightly larger radius or diameter coil in there, but I have my Raspberry Pi powered on. I've got the driver powered on. This was my ADC, but I've got my connection on right now in my terminal, and that's not the interesting part. I already have a script where I can just press two different keys, either P or Q, I'm pretty sure, and it's going to, I forgot which ones they are, but it'll say here. And it'll do either a clockwise or counterclockwise, kind of like micro steps. So, oh shoot. I think I need to update. I'm missing my GPIO library because I uninstalled it so I could use a different one. Okay, hang on. Okay, that didn't take as long as I expected to install it, so let's give that another go here. I'm about to start the script now. Okay, we can hear that hissing, so that's the holding torque. So now I'm going to do P for a clockwise rotation. I think my attachment is a little bit loose. It's not very smooth either. Okay, that was a total fail. Okay, so actually real quick, this is what I just did. I took the plastic protractor with the magnet off, and then I slid the coil off of that. So now we just have this, what I call plastic ruler up here. And so what I was seeing before, and if you were noticing, is that as I was moving the motor, or pressing the keys to try and get it to turn clockwise or counterclockwise, it really wasn't doing anything, but the collars were like spinning around still, so it's probably just kind of loose up there. So I feel like what I have to do is throw some more super glue on like the axle and then slide the collar back on. But I'm going to run it without the protractor deal on. So let's give this one more go here. Yeah, so it's kind of loose right now because I can see that the collars are spinning like a little more than what the plastic ruler is. So like if I look at it right now, the screws to tighten the collars are basically level, as is the ruler. So then if I do a counterclockwise rotation, yeah, this driver kind of sucks, honestly, because it's like not every single key will register a movement, as you can hear by the hissing. Yeah. So like I've only got it set so that, and I'll do the other way. There's like that pause in between, which is suboptimal. Yeah, it's like I can do maybe 3 steps and then the hissing stops. I think I have a timeout on there that's too long. But yeah, I need to tighten up the collars and stuff. Add a little bit of super glue because that's pretty loose. But I think I also need to change some stuff in the script. So that's the dry run, I guess, for now. So I took it off the ruler attachment here. And this is the middle where the axle of the stepper motor goes through. So I would have the bolts and washers on either side here holding the protractor in. And I had originally put one collar on the axle, then I slid this on, then I put super glue, or not super glue, hot glue around here. And then while it was still hot, I put another collar on, and then I tightened it up. And when I just took it off, the super glue was, yeah, it was deformed, so it's like obviously it's just kind of like slipping around on the stepper motor. But this is a problem I've had with this driver, which is like the DRV8825, we kind of saw it just now, but it's just not the greatest driver. It's difficult to like get fine control over, and it's like hissing and stuff, which is just kind of an inconvenience. It's annoying, but the program I have right now, I could press P or Q and do clockwise or counterclockwise steps that I've defined, which is like a small angle. I forgot what it exactly is, but I can make that bigger, and like the motor will, you know, do like a 360 or whatever, and it is fairly smooth during that. So it's kind of like I have two options. I could try to 3D print, I think what's called like a Scotch yoke, or it's basically like a gear attachment so that I adjust the Scotch yoke or whatever it is. It's kind of like what's in some clocks, like a pendulum clock, and it'll oscillate what's on the output of this attachment while the motor is constantly spinning in one direction. But I had access to a makerspace, but it's like on a monthly membership, and it's like $30 a month, and I only did 1 month, and then I cut my protractor and ruler attachments, and then I 3D printed the attachment so I could put the magnetic encoder on the back of the stepper motor. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to renew it. I was just in and out for a month. So really it would cost like $30 plus, like, it's not that big of a deal to print stuff with their 3D printers. It's like, you just have to pay for the material, which for the plastic, it's like nothing. It's like, you know, however fast it can spew out the plastic from their, like, you know, PFA coil or whatever, which it's like $2 an hour. It's like nothing, okay, basically. But the problem is still going to be my ruler attachment here. And then that driver, I found another one on Amazon, or like I found a suggestion and it's available on Amazon, which is better. And it's like $13-14 for two of them. So it's like, I have the breakout board for a motor driver. Right now it's got the DRV8825 on it. I could just pop that off of the breakout board and then swap in this new one. It's like a TMC something or other. But then I have two of them for like $14. One is a backup just in case I like burn it out or something like that on accident. And it seems like that one is like way better, especially if I'm considering oscillatory motion, because even if I have a feeling if I make the timeout different and I make the angle bigger just for the sake of like testing whether or not the motor can handle the torque of the swinging ruler and protractor with the magnet attachment, I have a feeling that the DRV8825, when it changes directions, it, like, the signal you're sending to the motor is very choppy, and so it almost enforces like a holding torque at the peak of that angle, if you will, and then starts up in the other direction, and then when it gets to the other extreme, it hits with a holding torque. And that's kind of what that hissing sound is. So these other driver boards or drivers, they supposedly have like a smoother, more fine-grained input signal for the motor, and there's no hissing noise. So I'm gonna give those a go, but you know, I could tinker around with like making my script good, but it's like at this point, okay, the main problems are like, one, the stepper motor driver needs better control. Two, I need, just for the sake of making this easier and lowering my chances of like knocking the coil off, I need to wind another coil that's slightly bigger. And then three, well, it's kind of related to the first one, which is that like, or no, didn't I say this yet? No, so then attaching this ruler piece to the motor itself, because let's say I do get like a driver with smooth control, I have a bigger coil, and you know, the size of everything is all good. This oscillating motion, I feel like is still going to rub off the hot glue, or the hot glue is going to get loose, and then this is going to like just kind of not be able to be moved by the motor after a certain point, because the motor will have like in effect kind of like drilled through the hot glue. But it's like, I don't want to make another one of these. And then the stepper motor axle has this little flat part on it, so like I can't drill that into this, right? This is like the smallest size of a drill bit that I have that's slightly larger than the axle, but it's like still there's that little gap from the little flat part on the stepper motor axle. So I'm gonna have to think about this one, but I don't know, that's the update on the iteration for my experimental apparatus for now.